Welcome to the HR L&D Podcast Bite-Sized, the show that explores the latest trends and insights impacting people-centric leaders, human resources professionals, and learning and development specialists, with me, your host, Nick Day. These are short snippets from my main podcast show that feature expert guests sharing their knowledge and experiences to help you stay up to date with the latest best practices and strategies impacting the future world of work. Remember, if you need support recruiting talent for your HR business, please do get in touch with myself or any of my wonderful experienced recruitment colleagues at jgarecruitment.com. But for now, sit back, grab your favourite beverage, and let's get started with today's bite-sized episode.
Maybe we're not going to compete on kind of like the cash side of things, right? But actually just, around this idea of what does leave mean about your employer. It means they care about you as a person, holistically, right? Which is really important, not just you as a worker. And also it can be a really, really major green light towards the mission of the employer, right? And I think a lot of us, especially during COVID, have been like, what am I even doing with my time? Right? Like, one life to live, YOLO. Like, make sure that whatever I'm doing is something that I actually care about. Yeah. And so what we started to see, and I think this has been a trend that's been, building for years and years and have kind of exploded during COVID, is people looking for an employer who's aligned with their mission and their values. I was actually just chatting to a candidate the other day who said that she had no idea about anything in the world of tech, but chose her first employer purely based on what values they had on their website, which was really, really interesting. Yeah. And I think that speaks to a lot of kind of what you're saying, which is like, hey, we don't necessarily have to compete on the same dimensions as what Facebook and Google and Netflix and so on are competing on. But what are those other angles, right? So for example, like leave being one of them. And then what are some of the nuanced parts of that, right? So as an example, we're seeing a lot of our partners start to roll out ramp back programs where, for instance, when you return to work, there's actually a flexible schedule as you're returning to work, because we recognize that figuring out things like childcare, pumping schedules, so forth, takes time to kind of get into that mode and know what that looks like. And so there are things like that in a lot of ways might not actually cost us anything as far as sheer just like dollars go, but make a big difference to our people. And that's a story that we can incorporate into our values that we as a recruiting team go and tell about why you should join our company.
I hope you enjoyed today's bite-sized edition of the HR L&D podcast. Remember to subscribe to the show, share it with all of your HR colleagues and friends, and why not also check out some of our previous episodes for more golden nuggets that may just help you along in your own people career journey. For now, I'm Nick Day, and you've been listening to the HR L&D podcast, Bite-Sized.